Hello students, welcome to School of Webpreneurship Lecture 8. In this lecture, we will explore the widgets inside the basic tab in Elementor. Let's get started. So first, let's check out the intersection. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's a section inside a section. An example of where you would use this is that if I wanted two buttons under this heading, I would add an intersection. If I added buttons without the intersection, they would appear on top of each other, which is not how I want it. Other than that, all its options and settings are basically the same as a normal section. Next is the video widget. Let's go through all the options. So first is the source. By default, it is set to YouTube. You can change it to Vimeo, Dailymotion, or self-hosted and upload it yourself. Let's switch it back to YouTube. Then there is link. You can add the link of the YouTube video that you want to put on here. Next, there's the start time and end time. Basically, when I open the video right now, it'll start at 0 seconds and end at 15 seconds. If I wanted to say start at 5 seconds and end at 8, I can change the start time to 5 and end time to 8. And now when I play the video, it'll start at 5 seconds, and when it reaches 8 seconds, it'll stop. Next, there is video options. In this, there is autoplay, which basically means that when the user loads up the page and scrolls down to the video, it will play automatically. Then there is mute. This is basically just to mute the audio and play only the video. But keep in mind that if the player controls are enabled, the user can unmute. And player controls are basically just all this stuff down here. By default, it's enabled, but you can disable it over here if you like. Next, there is loop. If you enable this, then the video will play again and again after it ends. So if I turn loop on, as you can see, it loops all over again. You don't need to worry about these other two right now. Next, there is suggested videos. These are basically the videos that show up when either you pause the video over here or when the video ends over here. By default, it is set so that whatever channel this video is from, right now it's from Elementor, the videos from this channel will show up. So all these videos are from this channel. You can set it to any video, which will show any video in the recommended. Sometimes this can be based on what the user watches. The next section is image overlay. This adds an image on top of the video. When you click the image, it'll play the video. In this, you can add an image, say this one. You can change its size, and you can enable and disable the play icon, which is this thing over here. You can also use the light box. This will open the video in a pop-up like this. Now let's move to the style tab. Let's move on to the style tab. Here you can change the aspect ratio, which is its width and height. So if I change it to 21:9, you can see that it changes. You can add CSS filters like blur and stuff, and you can also change the style of the play icon if you've added the overlay. Let's move on to the button widget. First option is type, which basically just changes a little bit of the style of the button. The options are info, success, warning, and danger. Then there is the text and link. The link is where the button takes to when you click on it. This could be a page from your website or a different website. Next, there is alignment, size, and icon. Let's add an icon. The icon appears right next to the text. You can change its position to after or before. You can change the spacing between the icon, make it less or more. Let's make it 8 for now. You don't need to worry about this right now. Let's move on to the Style tab. Here, this is the typography. You already know that you can change the text style here. Then there is text shadow, which is basically a shadow right next to the text. So if I make its color black, you can slightly see it over here. You can adjust how blurred it's supposed to be. You can adjust its position, all that stuff. Next, there is the text color and background color. You can change this for both normal and hover. Let's change the background color for hover to black. You can also add hover animation. So if I make it grow, it plays this little animation whenever I hover over the button. There are many other options here, and you can choose whichever one you want. Next, there is the border and padding, which you already know about. Let's move on to the next widget. The next widget is Google Maps. You can change the location, you can change how much zoomed in you want it to be by default, and you can change the height. In the Style tab, there's not much, but you can change some CSS filters. Like, you can change how blurry you want it to be. You can change its brightness, contrast, saturation, and hue. You can change it and make it different for hover as well. Lastly, we have icon. You have already seen this in the button, but this one has a little more options. You can change its view to stacked or framed. You can also change which shape you want it to be. You can add a link or change the alignment. In the Style tab, you can change its color for normal and hover both, its size, and you can also rotate it. And that's it for basic widgets. Your assignment for this lecture is to exactly copy this page using Elementor. The link will be given to you in Google Classroom. To copy the page, you will need to use the same colors, images, and style. The images will be given to you in Google Classroom. For the colors, you can use this Google extension called Colorzilla. All you need to do is click the link given to you in Google Classroom, add the extension to Chrome, and once it's installed, just click on it, select the color you want to use, and it'll copy it for you. And then you can come here and paste the code wherever you want to apply that color. For the style of the text, the only thing that you need to know are the fonts. The font for this top heading is Balsamic Sans. The font used in the buttons is called Abizi. The font used for these two paragraphs and the phone number is called Roboto, and the font used for this heading is Montserrat. That's it for today, and I will see you next time.